Hey everybody, it's Jochen Heiden, back with the Lodrik versus Heiden campaign. This is the 15th of February 1942, turn 71. So, I'm still trying to digest the loss of the Enterprise. It's just really disappointed in how that worked out. It's entirely my fault. I didn't handle it right, so I have to pay for that. So now we need to figure out if I can get the rest of the carriers safely back into Colombo and where the Kido Butai is and what Lodrik's doing in China. Let's see if we can figure it out. Okay, here we go. February 15th. Hopefully we have a good day today. I would like to see some success. Let me see some success here. Got some coast watchers reporting some ships. Oh, that's unfortunate. Looks like we lost some troops loading up an amphibious task force. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. A Corvette? Oh, man. Those are irreplaceable right now. I don't have enough of those to be losing like that. Why didn't it not attack the sub? There it goes. Man, I've lost so many escort ships and ASW ships to his subs, and that's not the way that's supposed to work. Oh, there we go. Silverside's taking a big old miss. Mark 14 special. Alright, so Silversides takes a shot at this task force here and misses. Of course it did. Looks like no night bombing. Okay, 020, come on, Dutch, and a miss. Of course it's a miss. If I didn't have, bad luck with subs, I'd have no luck. Look at this. Look at this thing. The 020, which is supposed to be one of my good subs, right? Totally misses. We see that he's got the Otago, which is claiming heavy damage. I wouldn't have expected that from the combat we had. The Maya. These are the two that took out the Enterprise, right? Bunch of destroyers and the Nagato, which I don't know what that thing's doing out here. That's concerning. That's got the biggest guns in the area for sure. It's got 16-inch guns versus my R class, which only have 15-inch guns. So that would be kind of an iffy trade, if you will. But of course, the Dutch have missed because I have terrible luck with subs. Man, sub warfare in this game drives me nuts. Some coast watchers. Oh boy, of course, of course. Stupid Japanese subs. So now he's got subs in between Sydney and Brisbane. This ship is a goner. There it is. Yeah, I bet he's going to kill this one. Yeah, now he's attacking on the surface because I sent this task force unescorted. And, it's my fault. I should have done it. But here it is. So this guy's finished. Yeah, that's a sunk. So I-10 grabs 2 kills today. Just because. I would not be surprised if I had more sub interactions on my side and we miss again. Because that's just the way this goes today. A miss or like a dud. Because that's just what I need right now is that kind of crap. Alright, so here we go for the daily Japanese bombing spam in China. Gotta get through this as fast as possible because I can't stand it. Okay, he's hitting Sian. He's really going for Sian. He's looking to keep us from building that up. And Kukong, he's gonna level it by the time he's done. There'll be nothing left of Kukong at this rate. Look at these hits. Alright, another attack on Kukong. And more hits. And another. I'll never get that base rebuilt like this. Wow. This unit, now he's getting into the meat of it because all the squads are disabled, so now he's just straight killing them with his bombing attacks. Yeah. It may not even last that past his turn. Okay, bombing raid on... Oh, clear sky! So this could be good for us. So let's fast forward through this and see what we get out of it. Ooh, very nice. Much better performance today. You may notice here that I lowered the Hudsons and the Marauders down to 3,000 feet because I don't think he's got a lot of flak to deal with it. And then, of course, the Liberators are restricted to 10,000 feet because of Lodrik's rule. Because that makes a lot of sense, but whatever. There we go. Much better performance. And we lug bigger bombs than he does more often than not. So these hits do more damage per bomb. Okay, so I got B-17s attacking this unit to get an idea of what it is that he's sending. They, of course, do no damage at all because we have just bad luck, period. But we see he's got the 36th, the 35th, and the 110th Division. Right there, that's 3 divisions coming towards me, towards Sian. And that is a huge problem. All right, so this fragment hit a 4th Division, the 41st. This is not good. Not good for us at all. Overall, much better performance at Luganville. Yeah, our bombing performance at Luganville was a lot better. Okay, that should have just been the AM phase. Let's see what we get on the PM phase. Uh-oh. Snooped by Japanese float planes. Well, that's a problem. That means he's got a sub down there. Okay, he's attacking Java. Okay, so that's it for that. I had a bunch of aircraft on naval attack, but apparently they chose not to. Okay, come on. Come on. Oh, of course. And, you know, the Dutch subs are supposed to be the good ones, right? Well, he just whiffed a shot at an AK, which I don't get. It took 1 hit, but survived it. But, man, it is so frustrating. I know I keep saying frustrating every single day, but it really is. To have your subs be this ineffective and straight not engage or miss when they shoot. Let me get one more miss. Come on, let's make it a great day. And there we go. So these picket ships are not working out for me because all they are sub bait. If anything, they're just attracting his subs away and making him waste torpedoes, but I don't want to keep throwing ships away like that for nothing. That's not the intent of these. And that one sinks too. Oh, watch. Of course. Server side for the 2nd time today totally failed. So we got a hit with no explosion. This is a Mark 14 thing. And yeah, well done. So 4 sub attacks by us today, 4 misses or 3 misses and a dud. Complete crap. I hate subs. I hate subs. That is awful. Subs are one of the worst things about this game for me. Alright, so we just landed Parmesan. Well, he does anyway. He's going to take that because we have nothing there. Right, so he's attacking this leftover unit on Java, and of course he takes it out, and we take heavy losses. Although it does appear that one of our units did not retreat. Weird. Okay, the daily bombardment at Changsha. Usual losses there. So the Royal Thai Army fails again. They happen to find our unit that has no morale, no experience, no supply, and we still beat them. Our RTA units are absolute trash. These guys. Okay, ADAC expands, Darwin expands, and Kumak expands. That's good. Definitely can use that. Okay, we got a looks like we grabbed another destroyer Heiden, and that's always good. Let's analyze this thing. Okay, everybody, we're back. Now let's take a look at this turn. So, starting with aircraft losses today, looks like Lodrik and I broke even. 3-3. He lost a Sonia, an Oscar, and a Nell. We lost a PBY-5, which unfortunately is never good because we don't have enough of them. And even worse, we lost an LB-30 Liberator, which we only get 24 of those, or I think 24 of those total. So now we're down 1. So that's unfortunate. Also lost the B-17E, probably on the attack against Lodrik. Looking at top pilots, we do have 2 KIA this turn, which is a shame. We have to assume that at least 1 PBY pilot and maybe even one of the bomber pilots. You know, those are hard to come by right now, so I don't like losing those. Okay. Now, taking a look at pilot replacements, I do kind of want to address some of the stuff we talked about last turn. I think I have a good handle on what became of my pilots. So let's look at this. If I look at the reserve pool and I sort by only U.S. Navy and I take out the patrol pilots, we have basically more or less 70 pilots accounted for, okay? That kind of makes sense based on the losses we took last turn. So there were about 90 pilots on the Enterprise, 86, 90 pilots when I pulled them off a few days ago, okay? Last turn when the Enterprise was sunk, we took a lot of pilot losses, right? Which, again, I don't really understand, but it is what it is. I have no control over that. And what we have left are 70 pilots total. So a lot of those KIA and WIA added up to about, what, 16 pilots? Something like that. So here we go. We have 70 pilots left. I had basically no other pilots in the reserve pool for fighter and bomber before yesterday. So not counting patrol, which is a lot of my PBY pilots, the scout plane pilots. Those are something else. This is what we have left. And I know for a fact that we did get some of them out because look at McCluskey. Let's look at the rank, right? Lindsay and McCluskey were some of the high-end commanders from those units. Let me see if there's any other higher ranking pilots that I can make, or let's look at even experience levels. That'll kind of tell a lot. These are definitely pilots from that carrier. The reality is, though, is that a lot of them are wounded, and I doubt we're going to get them back. But what I'm going to do this time around is I'm not going to retire any Navy pilots for a while. I'm going to do some experimenting. So I'm 99% sure how this works, but there is a chance that maybe I've overlooked it and didn't give it enough time, that these wounded pilots will eventually get a due date. Maybe they just need more months to get better. I don't know. I doubt it, but it's worth a shot. So here's what I'm going to do as an experiment, and you guys can follow along. Let's go all. We're going to not... so these are the group pilots, and these ones I do want to send to the reserve because they're wounded, right? Now, in the reserve, what I'm going to do is anything that is wounded in here, unless it's Dutch, because I just don't care. I want to get this crap out of here as soon as possible because they've been a huge disappointment. The British Navy Army pilots, however, I do want to keep those around, right? The wounded ones, and I want to give it some time. I'm going to give it about a month just to see what becomes of these guys. So if they never get a due date, then I know that they're never coming back, and my theory is correct on how the game treats wounded pilots. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a piece of paper. I'm going to write down a name that we're going to track. We're going to track Ensign Tanner B. So Ensign Tanner B, okay, as of 15 Feb 42, or 16 Feb rather, is wounded with no return date. So he's Navy B. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to watch this guy every day for the next month and see if something changes here. Maybe he gets a due date and he does come back. Maybe he just needs more time to, I don't know, to convalesce. If after a month this does not change, then I know for a fact that retiring the wounded pilots is the right thing to do. But let's give it a shot and see what happens, all right? Okay, moving on. We can take a look at the Army loss points, which did creep up again due to more losses in China and on Java. And Allied ship sunks once again. Not a good day. We lost another escort ship to a torpedo, which just stinks because these corvettes are excellent ASW ships, but not if they get jumped. And with Lodrik's subs being incredibly accurate with their shooting, we have to endure that first shot and not get hit, and we just have not had luck with that. These other three ships I'm not worried about. I'll show you what they are in a little while, and I'll tell you why it wasn't overly important that we lost them. It stinks. It's unfortunate, but it's not a showstopper, and there's honestly nothing on them. So losses are approaching 300 ships, which is just never in a million years that I think I would have losses at. I thought that we would have maybe tapped out at 100 losses and we would have been fine. I just grossly underestimated Lodrik in this campaign and what he was able to do. So now I know that my Allied ship sunk number is going to be probably 600 ships or more by the end of this campaign at the rate that we're going. We're only 2 months in and I've lost almost 300 ships, which to me seems outrageous, but, you know, outrageous in that I let it happen. So, again, I believe Lodrik ticked up a bit this turn because he grabbed Samarinda and inflicted losses on us. So, he's pulling ahead once again, as far as I can tell. So, let's take a look at the SIGINT. So, he's got some construction units moving to Surabaya. Hong Kong. Oh, look at this. 9th Medium Field Artillery Regiment planning for an attack on Sian. So, he is looking at Sian. Okay, Surabaya is mentioned. Rabaul is mentioned. I'm just reading this stuff here. 9th Division planning for an attack on Changsha. I don't know if he's actually going to attack there. It'd be pretty suicidal at this point if he were to try that. But We'll keep an eye on it. Looking at the ops report, I'm going to go through this pretty quick. Okay, awaiting unload at Noumea. We'll fix that. Okay, these guys have been sighted, so we need to be careful. This is out in the South Pacific. Some stuff loading on. Look at this. S-28 detects possible sub, but is unable to close within attack range. Oh, man. Got the sims repaired. We can send that back. All right. Some sightings. No hits on his subs this turn. Oh, yeah, look. Pilot killed in a landing accident of an LB-30 Liberator. So that's one of our pilots killed. Another B-17 written off. This is probably from China. Scrolling through sightings. Here we go. Pilot killed in landing accident from PBY-5 Catalina VP-22. There's our second pilot killed. So one bomber pilot, one patrol pilot killed in landing accidents. That's unfortunate. Okay, so Adak, Darwin, and Kumak all expand size, which is great. Let's see here. We got some ships that are being refitted. I ordered these last turn. VB2 converting the SBD3 Dauntless. That's fine with me. The SBD2 is not the best. This has more range, the SBD3. This unit is at this unit is actually at Hawaii, and it had Bolos, B-18 Bolos. So having B-17s now converted there is actually a really good thing, and that unit is fully deployable. It has unrestricted HQ, so we can start heading this down to Noumea to increase our bombing efforts there. Port Moresby is grabbing some more devices and upgrades. So that freed up some Bolos for us for the next upcoming turns. We still have some P-26s which have no real use. We got a couple more PBYs coming in from the pool, and quite a few SBD2s that we can possibly use for training other units later on. And then we have two groups that we need to disband or withdraw. Check it out. Devices upgraded at the Port Moresby. So this is all good stuff to me. So that means Port Moresby is getting even stronger. And finally, this is a big one for me. The 8th Marine Regiment takes replacements from Noumea. The 8th Marine Regiment was the unit that I had been airlifting into Luganville to hold it down. But since we lost all those troops, they're gone. So now we have to rebuild the 8th Marine Regiment, but it is taking replacements, which means it will get its strength back. And we're doing that on New Caledonia. The Fortune is another British destroyer, which is great. We have the losses reported here. This GVT-12 we'll probably never see because all the bases it was supposed to go to on Java are gone. And lastly, we have the President Quezon arrives at Cristobal, which is another AK that I can get into the fight. So some good reinforcements, some good upgrades. We got ships being refit. Overall, good stuff. Good stuff on the back end of our operational report. I'll briefly look at the combat report, and that basically shows us that he's well on his way to clearing the mines at Batavia. I had a lot of mines there, and he's already gotten almost 100 of them cleared this turn alone. Massive explosion on AK. Look at that. Massive explosion. Jeez. So there you go. At Batavia, it appears that he's well on his way to clearing the mines. He's just got a couple minesweepers in there doing stuff. And then pretty soon he'll move to Morocco and open that up. And then he'll have complete 360 control of the sea on Java. And well done, Lodrik, on Java. You've really executed it well. I have no complaints or no real criticisms as to how he's conducted operations on Java. It's been well supported. He came in heavy with lots of troops. And he's beaten me, completely outplayed me on the ground here, which, you know, I do have a little bit to say about that. I feel like I've gotten the better of him on the ground in a lot of ways this campaign, but on Java, no way. Lodrik has clearly been better, and he should be commended for that. So once he has this whole thing reduced, I will be very interested to see what he does with all these troops, because he has a lot of troops on Java. And where are they going to go next, I wonder? My guess is that he would head maybe towards Perth, because why not? He could probably take it. So yeah. Anyway, let's start in China and work our way around like I always do. So we did find out what he's got here. At least 4 divisions, if not more. Possibly 5 divisions moving this direction. I don't think they've actually stopped. I think they're still coming in. These guys are hanging on for dear life but won't be around much longer. So yeah, these units are representing up to 5 divisions of troops. That's over 2,000 AV. Okay, we will not hold at Sian with 2,000 AV. No point in even sending these guys anymore. Where are they at? I was moving a unit, and I probably shouldn't have done that. I gotta find out which one it is. Yeah, anyway, we're not gonna hold there. So what I'm thinking about doing is taking a couple of these guys and packaging them up like these ones. Let's rebuild it and start sending that back to Sian. We need to bolster that up a bit. All right, because we still have enough force here in this hex to hold it. These guys, we're gonna package them up. Oops, I lost track of which one it was. I think maybe this one. And we're gonna move that back. We need to have at least equal amount of AV there, if not more, to defend against that. Let's see what else can we move back. We can start moving a few more back. Package this one up. And move it back. All right. So we're going to start slowly retreating back from this hex, because I know these guys are coming, and then once they get in here, they can slingshot, and this would be a shock attack into Sian, because he has to cross this river, so that would necessitate a shock attack. So we must be with at least equal force or more to have any chance of defending that, and even then, it's not a guarantee that we would. I wouldn't want to find out, so we kind of need to keep an eye on this whole thing, and once we see all these guys in this hex, it is time to slingshot back to Sian rapidly and prepare for a massive onslaught by all of these units. And I don't even know if I want to take that battle on clear terrain. So a couple things that I was looking at right now is, we know that we can't hold 3 hexes simultaneously, but what about 2? What if I took the lesser of the best terrain? So instead of having mountain terrain, which is ideal for us, what if I just held in these 2 hexes? Now that's a ×2 multiplier instead of ×3. But what if I put 3,500 AV in both of these hexes? Would that be enough? I think I could get enough AV rounded up here to put 3,500 here and 3,500 here. And, you know, ×2 with fortification that we'd get on the field would give us, what, the equivalent of 7,000 AV in both hexes. That may be enough to hold them there. So we'd only have to give up Sian potentially. So I'm going to look at the units that I have over here and see what I can pull down from Lanchow. And we may want to start considering falling back into these hexes here and just hold here and see how that goes. Because then we don't give up Lanchow, which is very important to us given the amount of oil that it makes. Right? And that's our fuel supply for Chongqing and its industry. I'd hate to give that up if we didn't have to, especially with us having issues getting supplies in from Rangoon. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about now. I will consider that as an option, falling back to this hex and trying to split the difference. Because I have, what, 4,000 AV here, 1,000 AV, that's 5. And I could probably round up a few hundred there, and a bunch more over here. Okay. And probably get a pretty decent defense going on those 2 hexes. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. And we'll see if that's enough to hold it. All right, moving on. Been pretty quiet in the center, except for him daily attacking Changsha, and he's really getting the better of us with the airfield damage, with the daily bombardments, and the air attacks. Be that as it may, this unit continues to advance, so I think I'm going to turn these into move mode now to try to get them out of there even faster. I want them into this hex as quickly as possible so we can continue into Pinseong. At Kukong, he's just blowing us into oblivion with the bombing attacks. We have no supply. The field is damaged. We can't repair it. My units are out of supply. I really need to come up with a plan and quickly on what to do here because I can't keep taking this kind of damage. We need to fall back into some better terrain. So I'm wondering if it's time to fall back here and give up Kukong because it's just a drag, you know. I don't know that we're getting anything out of holding it at this point. It's worth 40 points, 44-point swing. Okay, big deal. But we may have better luck supplying our troops in the field if they were here and here as opposed to at Kukong. Because unlike bombing the airport, or rather bombing the base here and hitting our supplies and causing damage that we can't repair, he can't really do that to us in the field. For one, we're on better terrain, and two, you can't hit the supply in the field, and you can't also stop the fortification building by bombing it, unlike what you can at a base. So it may be time to go ahead and fall back out of Kukong and just set up a new defensive line here and here. I'm really considering that because I just can't keep this base is like a sore thumb, just sticking out, and it's just getting beat up every turn, and I don't see what the point is anymore. We don't really need it anymore, so it may be time to pull back into here and here. I will strongly consider that this next turn. All right, looking over here in the Bay of Bengal and Burma. Burma's looking pretty good. We do see some movement here by his troops. He's heading into Rahang, but I also have this Burmese division heading in here. And they're actually moving to Pisenuloke, which I don't know why, but they should be into here pretty soon, and hopefully we can put up a decent defense and hold this unit back. It doesn't look like any more than a regiment. So we should be able to actually defend against that, is my guess. And then we'll just hold Rahang, and then I'll try to get some sort of counterattack going down this way. Maybe we can come in here and take Chiang Mai and continue down this way, and just kind of keep them tied down in this part of Burma or Thailand. We also have a unit here, which I'm just kind of leaving here to guard the area. In case he decides to sneak up this road and I don't see him, this unit will see it coming. In Rangoon, everything looks to be okay. We're working on a size 7 airfield, and that's where I will stop. Fortifications are where they need to be. I'm not going to mess with those anymore. If anything, we can start working on the port capacity next, but there's really not a whole lot more I want to be doing to Rangoon. It's as big as I need it to be. Moulmein is coming up on the fortification, which is great. We're now working at Toungoo, building up fortification, because we have quite a few units there, including the 19th Indian Division. So that's actually pretty cool. We have 226 AV, but it's on jungle terrain and with some fort. It should be a good little blocking unit for the Burma Road. Plus, don't forget, we've got a lot of Chinese units on the way, and those will help with an attack into Thailand, possibly. The situation in the Bay of Bengal has calmed down a little bit. We did lose the Hollyhock here last turn, which was no good, but I can't do anything about it. It looks like his bomber or battleship task force decided to fall back, which is fine. I guess he realized that there was no point in heading out there. It was too late. We do have subs here, and they did make contact, but they didn't do anything good. But at least we know they worked. And here's the good news. The really good news is that we now have, check it out, all of our ships are back safely into Colombo. So what we're going to do now is unload these aircraft into the Colombo airfield, okay, which is still expanding, but that's fine. We'll get that built up faster. We're going to get the aircraft unloaded, and we can use them for flying cap and doing repair, replenishment. And then here's the plan for my ship repair plan is this. I've already started it just before I started this video. I started working on this. I'm going to start knocking out the stuff that's fastest first. So I have a couple light cruisers, a couple heavy cruisers, and a bunch of destroyers that I'm going to get repaired first. They all have varying degrees of major damage, all of them. I'm going to get that all fixed up. And then once those are done, I'm going to start feeding in the aircraft carriers into the repair shipyard as needed. So the Yorktown will actually go in last because I want the carriers that can be fixed the fastest in and out of there first. That way I have at least 2 to 3 carriers that are very strong and can sustain full operations with no damage. And then the Yorktown will go in last because it is the most damage of the 3. And it's this flooding damage that's causing the issue. The system damage we can knock down in pierside repair. This has to go into the shipyard to do it. So that's my plan, is to feed these carriers in one at a time. I'd leave the rest on just readiness repair. That way I can quickly sortie them if I really needed to. And then once I have them all repaired up, we can start looking at the next plan and where we want to go. And don't forget, we also have a number of other ships that need to go into the shipyard too. But again, I can go to sea with engine damage of 1. That's not a big deal. I can go with major damage of 2. This is not as important. If I had the sortie, I could. So I'm just going to fix what I can while I can. And then that's how we're going to do it. So looking okay. I'm glad we got these guys back into the shipyard, though, because I was sweating bullets with all these subs and all these ships and all the other things that I've had to dodge out here. So after taking out Lodrik's ships over here, I was really sweating bullets on here. But the nice thing is we have the Royal Sovereign out here, and it's escorts kind of running a blocking force to help cover us getting back in. So now I got to figure out what I want to do with them. We also have another destroyer coming in here. We also have the Revenge, and then the Ramillies and Resolution. So we'll have 4 15-inch armed battleships in the Bay of Bengal within the next couple weeks, and that will help us kind of curtail the surface threat to these guys. So I'm thinking about kind of putting together a little escort task force for my convoys moving from Calcutta to Rangoon, where I'll have a couple battleships, maybe the British aircraft carriers. I say plural. I may want to bring in the Hermes back because, you know, now it has sufficient escort and I have aircraft to put on it where they could be some use. And when they're packaged up with another aircraft carrier, I think that's enough to act as a nice deterrent slash escort for the convoys moving to and from Rangoon, because I have to get that going again. Our supply level in Rangoon is dropping by the day, and these are the supplies that I need to be moving to China, and they're not moving to China because I need them here. So we got to get these convoys moving again, but I need to be escorted now. I can't go in naked. So I'm kind of planning on using the Indomitable and the Hermes with a couple R-class battleships, cruisers, destroyers, you name it, to just cover the convoys moving to and from Rangoon. So that's kind of the plan. We'll see how that all pans out. It'll take a couple weeks to get all that put together, but that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. So we know we missed a bunch of shots here. We know that he had a battleship and the Otago, which appears to be damaged, heading south, and they're heading south presumably to Singapore to get repaired. And he has a repair shipyard there, which is more than capable of fixing it up. All right, so we're counting down the days until he gets into Palembang. It's any day now. Can't wait to see what he does with it. Java he's wrapping things up very nicely here. He's just landed here at Pamekasan, Pamekasan, and then the next destination is going to be Bandoeng, and I don't know how long we're going to be able to hold out there. We did just get some. We just get a couple of these guys that filtered back in from. Filtered back in from their failed attempt at Batavia. Oh, I think this is one of them here. So we'll put these guys on rest, try to get them fixed up. This guy's Strat. Why is he Strat? And then this guy here. He's obviously pretty well banged up. We'll put him on rest too. All right. Set all the Bandoeng. Okay, and then we'll see what we get. We're back up to 611, and then we'll dump in some reinforcements here. Okay, so there we go. Let's see what happens when he gets there. Fortress Bandoeng. We've got tons of supply. We're almost up to a size 4 fortification, and we're on mountain terrain, so it'll be a tough one for Lodrik to get into that. Over here, last turn, I set these guys to do some naval attack. Take a look at this. But they didn't. And I was wanting them to engage the units that were here, but look what showed up instead. Was this task force with apparently carrier support. And fortunately, these guys thought the better of it and elected not to attack this because they would have been shredded to a man. So here's what we're going to do here. We're going to stand these all down. And we'll be planning on moving these guys back over into this part of the Dutch East Indies because I am not dealing with fighter escorts. So Lodrik has gotten wise to the way I do business out here, and he's no longer sending ships around here unescorted. He's putting at least like a light carrier or an escort carrier with his stuff so that we can't just do these crazy little Kandari-style naval attacks on his ships. So he's wised up to us, so we have to change as well. Really nothing to talk about in this part of Dutch East Indies other than Ambon's getting a little low on supply, and we'll need to figure out how to get some up there. Probably maybe a couple AKs from Darwin to Ambon might be a good idea. Dead quiet over here on Perth. We did get a Dutch sub back up and running. So let's do this. We're going to send this guy over to Darwin to get fully rearmed because we don't have the rearm capacity at Perth. As you can see here, that is not enough rearm level to put torpedoes on there. But I have an AS, which is a subtender, at Darwin, so we'll send it up there, rearm it, and then we can maybe look at employing it up here now that we have Darwin available as a sub rearm base. Coming around this way, we know that Lodrik's got subs operating now between Brisbane and Sydney, and this is the task force that he actually attacked last turn, which honestly I forgot about it, but it's loaded with nothing. I'm just relocating it to Brisbane just because I'm trying to declutter Sydney a bit. I have too many ships there, and a lot of them have no real use. So I was just relocating these AKs and AKLs to Brisbane just to have them there for whatever I need them for, and that's what he attacked. So the ships that he hit had nothing on it, no supply, no troops, and it just kind of is what it is. I don't like losing ships, but at least there was nothing on there that was super useful. So a couple other issues that I encountered out here is, as you recall, a couple days ago, we lost the ship out here near Fiji. And now we have Japanese float planes spotting stuff out here. And this is one of the main lanes that I use to get supplies into Noumea and Australia. So now Lodrik, we know for a fact Lodrik's got subs out here. So we're going to have to divert around this way And this particular task force is super important to me because it's got this AR, which I desperately need on Nomea to start fixing up my damaged ships there. So I have to start getting creative here. So here's what I'm planning on doing. We're going to head to Raoul Island, right? And then to here. And then up. So that's going to add a few more days of travel time to my trip to Numea, but I don't know what else to do. I can't afford to have this intercepted. So right now he thinks we're heading west, so we're going to go southwest and hopefully dodge a sub. These guys are going to move to link up and escort it in the rest of the way, and then we'll bring it back into Numea, and it's just going to take a couple extra days. And then all subsequent convoys are going to have to be routed around as well. We're going to go way further south because he knows that we're going through here now, and it's too dangerous. Once again, my subs are absolute pieces of trash and did nothing. He had a AKL task force land at Luganville, unload, and leave. And where did it go? I have no idea. And my subs did nothing. And I don't know what else to do with these subs. I don't know what else to do. Look at here's what is it? Patrol areas. These are the patrol areas that I have set up for these subs. Okay, they're just not doing it. They're not hitting anything. I picked the most likely routes for his ships to travel in, and he is going right over the top of them with slow ships, and they're not engaging. Literally, I have a sub sitting in Luganville for weeks, and it has yet to engage once. I don't get it. Look at the captain. Well, okay. The aggression's a little low. That could be it. I might swap him out with another sub captain or something, but I just don't understand why my subs are not engaging. It's very frustrating. I keep saying that every day in every video, but you know what? It is. It's frustrating. Wouldn't you be frustrated if your subs were not attacking? His do. Every single turn, his subs attack, and they get hits, and they sink stuff. Mine do none of it. Ah! All right. So here's the last thing I want to look at for this turn is this. Check this out. What in the world is this task force? I have two theories about this task force. For one, it appears to only have fighters aboard, which, you know, fine. And that would explain why this is not sighted, while that's not sighted, and while that's not sighted, because he doesn't have any strike aircraft doing naval search. So this is one of two things. A, this is a bombardment task force he's sending around this way to hit Port Moresby. Or B, this is bait. All right. He set this out to bait my bombers out into his cap. Because he's got 46 fighters here, and I bet you all of them are set to cap. So I want to hit this thing, but I need to make sure I have more escort than he has cap to do it. So before I commit to that, I need to get more aircraft to Port Moresby. So my plan here is to take these B-17s and move them back to Nomea, which I'll go ahead and do right now. Hopefully we don't take too many ops losses doing it. Okay, so we're going to unload those because they're just not doing anything for me anyway. Okay, we're going to send these all back to Nomea, which is fine. I could use them to step up a bombardment of Luganville anyway. Okay, so we'll move these ones as well. Looks like we did lose one on the way over. Dang it. Oh well. Okay, so now that I've got those unloaded, we have plenty of stacking limit and administration limit, and I want to show you something about this in a second, but let me talk about my plan first. We'll stand these guys down so that we can get them off the base, and over the next couple turns, I'm going to start moving a bunch of P-40s here and a couple of these guys, these Hudsons, which got to go anyway pretty soon, right? These are all training for naval attack. On top of that, I'm moving these Banshees, which are all ready to go. These are actually American Army versions of the SPD Dauntless. But look at the pilots. They've been training naval bombing for a couple months now, and they're ready to go. And these guys will put a hurting on whatever that is. So once I have sufficient amount of P-40s in place, and once I have all of these bombers at Port Moresby, I look to be starting to do some naval attack especially if this guy's trying to come around the bend and hit Port Moresby. So we'll see what he does with that. But, I'm looking forward to it. I hope that this isn't just... I hope this is a bombardment task force, and I hope that he's coming in to start a fight with me, because I'm ready to actually flex Port Moresby and show what we can do. All right, we've got plenty of aviation support. We got plenty of airfield, and I want to show you one last thing. Do you guys notice something about this base administration? 2 of 13. Do you know why it's so high? Check this out. Look at Kumak, for example, right? The base administration here, which is only one size smaller, is 5. But it is actually 13 here. Why is that? Well, this is why. Do you see this? Where'd it go? Where is it at? Oh, yeah, here it is. At Cooktown, we have Australia Command. All right? Australia Command is a command headquarters, and it is flexing its muscle and projecting administration benefits to the airfield at Port Moresby because they belong to the same command. You see this? This base belongs to Australia Command. Australia Command is the command, so it's giving its command radius in administration benefits to this base, and your command headquarters can give that up to double its command radius. It could give administration bonuses to air bases. So what does that mean? That means better coordination, better repair, more units that I can operate out of here without taking penalties. All right, so that's why I moved Australia Command up to Cooktown, because I knew that it could extend its benefits to Port Moresby. You'll also notice through the ops report that we had a lot of units getting upgraded at Port Moresby this turn, right? A disproportionate amount as compared to normally, and that's because we are within the command radius. Look, we're within the command radius of the Australia Command headquarters, and this is helping Port Moresby and its units recover faster and take replacements and all that stuff. So that's why I moved Australia Command to Cooktown to help Port Moresby, and it is definitely paying off. You can see it here in the base administration. You can see it in the fact that our units are getting upgraded faster now. So good on me, right? I'm proud of myself for making that call to move Australia Command to where it's at. It's definitely helping out. So there you go. We'll see what happens with this. If he goes back next turn, then oh well. If he continues around the corner to head towards Port Moresby, game on. That's all I got to say about that. So, okay, that's the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. This thing's still alive and well. Lodrik has definitely picked up the pace in China, which is good. He needed to do something, and this here is something, and it's enough to make me have to change what I'm doing. So even if this doesn't turn out to be massively successful for him, it's showing that he's trying something different to break this stalemate. Because right now, this is nothing but a gigantic stalemate, and it's going nowhere, especially for him. But this move that he's doing here is smart. I always feared that he would do this, but I had no way of really defending against it because of the terrain. But he's finally figured out that he has a clear shot in here, and he will shock attack through here, and with that kind of power, he's standing a strong chance of beating us at Sian if we don't do something about it. And we're going to have to react by pulling troops back from here to reinforce here, which makes us weaker here, which means he could attack us here. Do you see what I'm saying? It's all a domino chess game down here, and he's got us in check at Sian if he continues moving this way. So I have to react now, and I think that's great that he's doing something different, because everything else he's doing doesn't seem to be working in China, but this might. And one last update before I end the video, because I always forget. I have some good news. The Dutch sub that was out of fuel has made it back to ADAC, and we're going to go ahead and get this bad boy fixed up. It's fully rearmed, fully refueled. And the Tambor, the sub that took mines at Hakodate, which I thought was a goner, has made it back safely to ADAC, and I can't believe it. I'm so excited about this. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start doing repairs, and we're going to knock down the engine damage a bit and get the system damage down to 0. And once that's done, I can ship this ship back to... I'm going to send it back down to Pearl Harbor for permanent repair at the shipyard there. And then from there, we can send it back to Japan or wherever. But thank goodness for ADAC. It's been a lifesaver for my subs. It's worked out awesome. I'm really excited about how effective it's been. As soon as I can get an AR out here, I will, and it will help repair ships and subs even faster. So, all right, that is literally the end of the video now. I'm going to end it. Thank you for supporting me in Lodrik. I'm really enjoying this campaign still. Lodrik is not out. He's down but not out, and you can see that he's stepping things up, trying new things, and he hasn't given up, and I like that. So we'll catch you in the next one.